going on, guys? Welcome to my trade review of MMAT. I took this trade today on September 2nd, 2021. I'm going to talk to you about a couple of things in this review, but the first thing I want to jump into is to talk about the major lesson of this trade review, which is just patience. This trade netted me just about a 5% gain. I was really ultimately looking for about a 20% gain on this or more, but I really just cut myself short because I ran out of patience with this thing, and I'll talk about that why as we get into the intraday chart. But let's just jump into this review here and talk about this daily chart that we're looking at right now. First things first, Meta Materials has a float of 241.77 million shares, which is a pretty sizable float, so it does take a lot of volume to move this thing. I did love to see the volume that we got here on this trade on Monday. I didn't trade this thing here. I know a lot of people in chat did trade it, so it was on everybody's radar. We did have this considerable move on Friday with some really nice volume as well, just over 80 million shares traded here. So things were looking pretty good, and this continual uptrend was looking really nice. So let's just talk about some indicators on my daily chart here that come into play as we're looking at this thing. The first thing you're going to want to take notice of is this pink line here, which is the 50-day moving average. And we can see how this thing just kind of came into play as an area of resistance and then ultimately of support here on Wednesday. And the other one is this 100-day moving average, which, as you can clearly see on this particular day, which was Monday, this thing has had just a strong rejection at that level. But we never ultimately pulled back into the trade line. This light blue line being my EMA exponential 8-day moving average, and these lines representing my simple moving averages, my 50-day, my 100. This 8-day exponential moving average is what we refer to as the trade line. This is a momentum indicator. This thing is really you got to have volume in the stock to really put this thing to use. But staying above this line when we have volume, it really indicates the movement going up and just heading into this upward area. If we look back on the chart here previously, we can see as this stock made this move up to this upside, and then eventually was rejected up here at this $22 area. The trade line came right into play as an area of resistance where the stock just had a very difficult time breaking through this resistance area. Ultimately, we did wind up bottoming out here at around this $3 level. So we did kind of just flounder around, and as you can see, with this low volume, we traded in and out through this trade line, in and out. And really were unable to make a definitive move until we got this volume pickup and we wound up sticking above this trade line. So always a positive sign. So what I saw in the pre-market this morning is that we were actually holding over yesterday's high and close, which is really a good sign of strength and continuation. And I'll show you in the pre-market session what this looked like, but that was the first thing I saw. The second thing I saw is we were actually up and over the 50-day, and we just had to get up through this 100-day level here at this 525 area. So at this point in the pre-market, doing that analysis, I went ahead and mapped out some areas of support and resistance, as you can see here with these red lines. I'm just going to actually get rid of this guy here. This 537, we're going to get rid of that for now. So the areas that I marked off initially were this $4.70 area, which was the previous day's highs, which is actually this previous day's highs are very close to it. The next area was this around $5 number, which is where the stock opened on Monday. And then the next level was this $5.80 area where the stock hit this high of the day and was rejected. So that was actually my ultimate profit take target, and I knew we would stumble around at this $5 kind of $5.20 area, kind of around this 100-day moving average. We just had to get some oomph to get through it. And then coincidentally, some of these levels, well, not coincidentally, but there is a reason why these levels come into play. As you can see here, this was a previous support area that did break, so that's why this stock came to that level during that day. It's going to pick out these levels and trade in a channel. And then again over here, if we look past this $5.80 area was an area of support which was previously resistance. So obviously this level does have some meaning on this chart. So that's how we establish support resistance. Once we jump into the intraday chart, I'm going to talk about where I took my entry and where my stop loss was. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to open up my 3-minute chart. Now, on these intraday charts, you are going to see my simple moving averages, but please disregard those because they really do not come into play, especially on a lower time frame chart like a 3-minute. They're really meant to be on the daily chart only. The reason that they show up on mine is because I do switch between my time frames quite quickly during the day, and I do want to see them there. So let's just jump into this pre-market action. And as you can see, we're just holding above the previous day's close, just kind of rolling along, and then we broke above the previous day's highs in the morning right before the bell, just after 9 a.m. And this is what caught my eye. I really didn't have my eyeballs on this thing right away. I was just watching it, and we were talking about it in chat. But through this consolidation morning price action, I really wasn't watching it too intently. I was scanning and looking for some other opportunities. So as we got closer to the bell and we got closer to that open, I would definitely not chase this momentum up. I am not a aggressive trader. I am a conservative trader. I like to buy into areas of support rather than buying into areas of resistance that you're anticipating a breakthrough. And in doing so, I'm actually able to maximize my share size to get into full size positions because I have a slightly tighter stop loss. Like imagine if you entered this stock as it broke through this $5 area up here. Well, where's your stop loss? It's got to be somewhere down, maybe down here at 470, because you have no idea where this thing is going to pull into. Ideally, it would pull into that $5 level, but you just don't know that. So unless you're a scalper trader, or a momentum-based trader, just play it safe and buy into support. So with that being said, I'm going to turn off my pre-market data. And the reason I do that is because I just don't want to see any of that pre-market information affect the aggregation periods of my intraday indicators, that being the VWAP, which is this red line here, and my exponential 8-day moving average, which is this light blue line here. So, the stock makes this move. What do I do? First thing is pull out my Fibonacci's. Because we got this gap up, I'm going to draw my Fibonacci from the previous day's close up to the intraday high of day. And a couple of things that I noticed right away that were very evident was that this 38.2 Fibonacci level lined up almost precisely with this $4.99 support resistance level. So I was really looking for that $4.99 to hold, and it did actually. We did break just below it, into this $4.93 area, but I was just looking for it to hold, and ultimately looking for one of my favorite setups, which is this VWAP trade line cross, looking for this 8-day EMA light blue line to cross up and over this VWAP, and really needing to see an increase in volume, which we did get. So we'll get there in a sec, but first I'm going to talk about my entry. So knowing that this $5 is a support level, knowing that this 38.2 and the $5 level, the VWAP and the EMA all line up in that particular price area, and also taking notice of this consolidation low volume pullback, which is also a good sign to see as this thing's flagging up, that this is a really good opportunity to take an entry. So I went ahead and got long right on this candle here at $5.06, with a stop loss just below here at $5. I think I went down to 590 was like my stop area, 591, something like that. It was more of a mental stop. I do not set hard stops. I use mental stops unless I have to walk away from the stock for an hour or two or a couple of minutes, got to go to the bathroom, that kind of thing. So what I was looking for was this flag to just continue up to an inflection point. As the flag got tighter and tighter, I was looking for this thing to pick a direction. I felt pretty good that it was going to go upside, and I love to see this volume come in as we broke out through the flag, increase in volume, and just ideally not looking for this thing to breach back into the flag or fall below the flag. In that case, that says to me this is a failed setup. But this to me is almost pretty much a grade A plus setup in terms of what I like to see with multiple indicators and volume profile. So what did I do? Well, I decided to take my first piece of profit off at $5.25, just as we broke through this initial morning high right here. So the first profit here actually was right around, yeah, it was right around 525, just up here. I think it was, yeah. So after that, we did get some follow through continuation, and then we got this pullback, and then we were kind of heading into the lunchtime session. So personally, I do not like to make any decisions about what I want to do in terms of adding or even entering a position during lunch because there's just not enough volume. Ideally, what I was looking for here was this $5 level to hold, which acted as support this morning, which lines up with, in this case, the 50 fib and the 38.2 Fibonacci level lining up with VWAP quite nicely. So, as you can see, and we talked about this earlier on in this review, this EMA doesn't really come into play when there's no volume, no momentum. So, we did trade kind of through this and just kind of floundering around trying to figure out which direction we were going to head into, but really some solid indicators that we were holding this level was this hammer here of this back test and then this one here. So these two back tests really confirmed that this $5 level was a nice area of support. So really happy to see that. As we started to move out of lunch, started to make some higher highs and higher lows, back up over the VWAP. And then as we approached the end of lunch, so not quite there, but just after 1 o'clock, we got this big volume spike, and then here we go for this retest of the previous high here at $5, and I guess let's see exactly what that high was, $5.33. So big volume test. I just wasn't seeing it happen here. I was watching the level 2 quite closely, seeing that 533. 532, 531, 530, just kind of like rotating, not really, making that extra move, and that volume just never came through on this next follow-up candle. So I decided to take another piece of profit off the table. On this first take profit here, this was a 50% profit take from my initial entry at 506. The next one here at $5.31 was another 25 cents of profit taken. The reason I took it off there was just in case we just didn't get through here. I just didn't want to be holding on to 50%, risking back down to my entry. So that being said, playing it safe, 25% off, put in some more profits into the old bank account. And then we just got this kind of low volume pullback into the VWAP, and this is where my patience just didn't pay off. I was getting kind of tired. I was really, I hate to say it, but I was a little bored just watching this thing floundering around, and then it looked like we double topped here and just wasn't going to happen. We tried again on this candle, and we were rejected. So ultimately, I wasn't feeling very good about this thing continuing into the afternoon session, and that was my mistake. This candle here came within a penny of my stop loss. After I'd taken my last 25% here, my risk was down to my entry at this point. I wasn't even really wanting to risk it down to $5. I just wanted to keep this as green to trade as possible. So I actually was feeling like, oh, this thing's just going to break it, and this volume is starting to increase here. The MACD is looking bearish. The CMF we're getting outflow. So it just didn't feel good to be sitting in this, and I was watching some other stocks that I was interested in. So I just went ahead and took my final take profit of $5.11. Much to my detriment, really, because this thing held that level beautifully, and then we just again got this nice uptrend, putting in higher lows and higher highs, just kind of doing that stair step price action up, which is exactly what you want to see in terms of bullish momentum. And if I'd hung in there until the end of the day, got to get this pen off. There we go. We would have been able to actually get through this $5.33 resistance, and I would have probably taken some more profit off here. Was I thinking about holding this into tomorrow? Not really, but on this bullish move here at the end of the day, I probably would have. Seeing this breach on nice volume, I would have let this thing run into the after hours, and that is exactly where this thing went in the after hours, just right up to that $5.80 profit target that I had set for myself this morning. Just boom, right, like literally to the penny, right into it. So I was kicking myself a little bit. At the end of the day, profit is profit, green is green, and that's all great. It sucks to miss out on a move like this. I'm looking at this thing for some continuation into tomorrow, hoping to see maybe this $5.80 level hold, which was, if we go back to that daily chart, which was the high of Monday right here. So looking for this to maybe act as a level of support, and maybe we can get some more moves to the upside here, potentially up to 675. Maybe a little above that, we can get up to this top here at 796, so $8. So there's potential. We are above the major moving averages. We are above the EMA 8. So this thing could make a move on Friday. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see what happens in the pre-market. But as of right now, this thing is on watch into tomorrow, and hopefully we will get that move. So I hope you guys learned a little bit from my mistakes. I know I do. I try and learn from everything that I do, and that's why I find these trade reviews helpful for me to even create them, is a way for me to reflect on my trade. So, aside from going into my trade journal and writing down my thoughts and sharing my trade in my trade journal, to do it visually is really helpful, and I hope you guys learned a little bit from this as well. Stick around, and maybe we'll see another post up tomorrow for some continuation into this stock. If not, give me a subscribe, give me a follow, and maybe in the future you will see some more trades that resonate with you and that you'll be able to learn a thing or two from. Thanks so much for sticking around, guys. I appreciate it. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.